Imagine waking up to a notification on your phone that changes everything. It's not a text from an ex or a social media alert. It's a bank confirmation. $1 million has just been deposited into your account. But before you can even scream with joy, a second notification appears. It's a simple set of rules. You have until midnight to spend every single cent. If there is even $1 left in that account when the clock strikes 12, you lose everything. Not just the leftover change, but the right to receive another million tomorrow. And here's the kicker. You can't just give it away. No donations to charity, no expensive gifts for your friends, and no hiding it in the stock market. Every dollar must leave your hands in exchange for something you now legally own. You look at your current life. You're 32 years old, sitting at a kitchen table with a warped laminate top, and your total savings before this moment was exactly $214. You've been living a life where a surprise car repair feels like a natural disaster. Now you have the opposite problem. You have more money than you have time. You realize very quickly that having $1 million isn't a dream. It's a full-time, high-stakes job that starts the second you open your eyes. You grab your keys and run to your car, a 2018 Honda with a radiator that bangs like a drum. Your first instinct is the same as everyone else's: luxury. You want the things that look like wealth. You drive straight to the nearest high-end dealership. You think you'll just walk in, point at the fastest car on the floor, and be done with it. But you quickly hit your first wall. Buying a $250,000 supercar isn't like buying a sandwich. There's paperwork, there's insurance, there's a background check. The salesperson looks at your faded t-shirt and your beat-up car in the parking lot and takes his time. By the time you've signed the last form for a matte black Ferrari, it's already noon. You've spent $300,000. You have $700,000 left, and the sun is already halfway across the sky. You start to feel a strange, cold weight in your chest. You thought the challenge was getting the money. You didn't realize the real challenge was the world's inability to move as fast as your bank account. You spend the afternoon chasing watches. You find a boutique that sells complications that cost more than your parents' house. You buy 3, you don't even like the way they look. You're not collecting, you're clearing inventory. But as you stand on the sidewalk at 4 p.m. clutching a bag worth $500,000, you realize something terrifying. You've spent all day running and you still have $200,000 to go. Your phone pings. It's the interest. Because that $1 million is sitting in a high-yield account, it's actually growing while you're trying to kill it. You're literally making money faster than you can find things to buy. You realize that if you keep buying stuff, you're going to fail. Stuff takes up space. Stuff requires maintenance. Stuff requires you to be there in person to sign a piece of paper. You need something different. You need a way to spend money that doesn't depend on how fast a salesman can type. You're walking through a shopping center, exhausted when you see it. A vending machine in the corner of a quiet hallway. It's out of water and the snack coil is jammed. Most people would be annoyed, but you stop. You remember a story about the architecture of wealth. You look at the machine and think, who owns this? You don't want the soda inside. You want the machine itself. You call the number on the side of the glass. The owner is a guy named Dale who's been looking to retire. He doesn't want to sell just one machine. He wants to sell his whole route. 12 machines across 3 buildings. You ask him the price. He says $40,000. You tell him you'll give him $60 if he can sign the bill of sale in the next hour. He meets you at a coffee shop. By 6 p.m., you've moved another $60,000. But more importantly, you've discovered the secret. You shouldn't be buying things that look like wealth. You should be buying the things that create it. You spend the next few hours in a fever. You're not looking at Ferraris anymore. You're looking at the uninteresting world. You find a small coin-operated laundromat for sale online. The owner is tired of fixing leaks and dealing with quarters. You buy it for $80,000 cash, right there over the phone, pending a digital signature. Then you find a municipal parking lot being auctioned off due to a tax lien. You pay the $60,000 balance. You're not even looking at the properties. You're looking at the clock. It's 11 p.m. You have $10,000 left. You find a company that owns 3 highway billboards. You lease the ground rights from them for the next 5 years, paying the entire contract up front. At 11:58 p.m., your account balance hits 0. You collapse onto your couch, your heart hammering against your ribs. You've survived day 1. But as you close your eyes, you realize the sun is going to come up in a few hours, and another $1 million is going to hit your account. And you have to do it all over again. By day 3, the glamour is completely gone. You don't even want to look at a luxury store. You've realized that the performance of wealth is a trap. The guy in the $300 t-shirt driving the wrapped Range Rover is spending his time trying to be noticed. You don't have time to be noticed. You're wearing a fleece from a sporting goods store and driving your old Honda because it's reliable and it doesn't draw attention. You become a silent millionaire. Your neighbors see you leaving early every morning and coming back late looking tired. They think you've taken on a second job. They're not wrong. Your job is managing the architecture. You've moved from vending machines to car washes, from car washes to small medical clinics. You're buying the boring, unglamorous bones of the city. People always need to wash their clothes. They always need to park their cars. They always need a doctor. These needs don't care about the stock market or the latest trends. They are steady, they are quiet, and they are very, very expensive to own. The turning point comes on day 5. You've spent $4 million so far. Your portfolio is a mess of LLCs and property titles. You're standing in the plumbing aisle of a hardware store at 7 in the morning trying to find a specific fitting for one of your laundromats. Your phone pings. It's your daily million. But this time, you don't panic. You realize that your internal wiring has changed. A few weeks ago, you were making decisions based on the next 30 days. How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to afford that car repair? Now you're thinking in decades. You're not looking at the price of a coffee maker. You're looking at the cost per use over 5 years. You're not buying a car, you're buying transportation. This shift is invisible to everyone else, but it's worth more than the money itself. You've stopped being a consumer and started being an owner. But wealth has a cost that no one talks about. It's a specific kind of loneliness. On Saturday night, you're sitting at a kitchen table with your best friend, Marcus. He's been building a food truck business for 2 years and he's struggling. He needs $85,000 to move into a permanent location. You could write that check in 10 seconds. You could send the money from your phone while he's in the bathroom and not even feel the loss. But you don't. You sit there and you listen to him talk about his debt and his fears. You feel the weight of what you could do, but you know that just handing him the money might be the worst thing for him. Money handed to someone who isn't ready for it just accelerates their mistakes. So instead of a check, you give him your time. You spend 4 Saturdays going through his books. You help him renegotiate his lease. You show him how to fix his cash flow. When he finally gets his keys, he's crying because he did it himself. You never tell him you have millions. You let him keep his own story. By the end of the week, you've spent $7 million. You own a small empire of boring businesses. You've broken the cycle of panic. You've realized that the richest people in the world don't spend their money on things. They spend it on systems. You're no longer the guy with $214 in his savings account. You're the guy who understands how the world actually runs. You wake up on the 8th day and the notifications stop. The challenge is over. The daily million is gone. You look around your apartment. The laminate countertop is still warped. The radiator still bangs. Your car still has a crack in the bumper. Nothing on the outside of your life has changed, but everything on the inside is different. You realize that wealth isn't a number in a bank account. It's not the Ferrari or the watches you bought on the first day. Wealth is the ability to show up for the people you love without it costing you your stability. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing that the future isn't something happening to you. It's something you built with your own 2 hands, one Tuesday morning decision at a time. You pick up your keys, walk out the door, and go to work at your laundromat. Because the machines don't care how much money you have. They just need to keep running. And so do you.